Hi, welcome everyone. In this video, we'll discuss about Gauss quadrature formula for the numerical integration. So, to begin with, uh, the formulae derived for the evaluation of definite integral from limits a to b fx dx so far requires the value of function at equally spaced point of the interval. Okay, so that means the step size is same. Gauss derived a formula which uses the same number of functional values but with different spacing and yields a better accuracy. So it means step size may vary. Now Gauss formula is expressed as definite integral with limits. It is to be noted that limits are from -1 to 1 in Gauss formula. Fx dx is equivalent to w1 f of x1 plus w2 f of x2 so on wn f of xn, or in summation I from 1 to n wi fxi. This is our first equation where these wi and xi, these are called weight and abscissa respectively. So weight of the function and abscissa, it means at which position you have to calculate the function. So these abscissa and weight are symmetrical with respect to the middle point of the interval. Okay. So weight of the function, it will change if you choose a particular Gauss formula, that is for n is equal to 1, 2, 3, so on. Suppose, consider an example that your function is varying smoothly or varying slowly in a given subinterval, whereas it is varying at a faster rate in another subinterval. So you need more number of points or more weight to that particular function which is varying faster in that subinterval as compared to the subinterval in which function is not varying at a faster rate or too much. So, so Gauss formula provides you this kind of facility of weighting the function. So you can give weight to that particular function, that what is its importance in the integral. So the integral here is approximate as the weighted sum of sampled functions at many points. Now there are two n unknowns in equation number 1. Uh, n unknowns are w1, w2, so on up to wn, and the next n are f of x1, x2, and so on xn. So two n relations between them are necessary. Okay, so if you have two n unknown constants, unknown variables, then you have at least two n equations to solve them simultaneously and find their value. So two n relations between them are necessary so that the formula is exact for all polynomials of degree not exceeding 2n minus 1. So this combination is for polynomial of degree not exceeding 2n minus 1. So we consider fx to be a polynomial of order 2n minus 1 starting from c0 first term, then c1x, then plus c2x square plus so on c2n minus 1 x raised to power 2n minus 1. Okay, so this is 2n order polynomial. So the left hand side of equation 1, so we have defined equation 1 in previous slide. Left hand side was -1 to 1 fx dx. Okay, so simply substitute the value of fx from equation number 2. So we have substituted and simply carried out the integration with respect to x. So on solving or substituting the limits, we get 2c0 plus 2 by 3 c2 plus 2 by 5 c4. Odd terms c1 and c3, they cancel out. Okay, so on, and this is our equation number 3. Also, let us put x is equal to xi in equation number 2. We get f of xi is equal to c0 plus c1 xi plus c2 xi square so on plus c2n minus 1 xi 2n minus 1. This is for 2n minus 1. Now substitute these values on right hand side of equation 1. So equation 1 was this integral -1 to 1 fx dx is equal to w1 f of x1, w2 f of x2, so on. So we are simply substituting the value of f of x1, f of x2 using this equation in equation number 1. So it becomes w1 into f of x1, which is c0 plus c1 x1 plus c2 x1 square, so on up to 2n minus 1 term. Similarly for second term w2, then f of x2 is c0 plus c1 x2 plus c2 x2 square, and so on. And similarly we keep on up to nth term. So wn, then c0 plus c1 xn plus c2 xn square, so on, c2n minus 1 xn 2n minus 1. So now we have to rearrange this right hand side in order to take c0 common, then c1, then c2, so on, c2n minus 1. So we have rewritten the terms. Now by taking c0 common, we have w1 plus w2 plus w3, so on, wn. Similarly, the term coefficient of c1 and c2 and so on, c2n minus 1. So we have equation number 4. Now equation 3 and 4 are identical, in which we have actually carried out the integral of f of x, and by substituting the limits we have solved it. Hence, on comparing the coefficient of ci's, so c0 coefficient is this term here, and we can compare it with the previous slide equation. We obtain 2n equations. So on comparing the actual integral and the equation number 4, we have 2n equations in 2n unknowns, that is w and xi. Okay, so the coefficient of c naught here is w1, w2, so on up to wn, their sum, which is equal to 2 on previous slide. So similarly, coefficient of c1, which was 0 because odd term cancel out, then so on up to 2n minus 1 term. So these are 2n equations in 2n unknowns. Solve them simultaneously, you get your required result, w1, wi's and xi's. So this is Gauss quadrature formula. The solution of above equation is complicated if n is a large number. It can, however, be shown that xi are the zeros of n plus 1th Legendre polynomial. So you simply take the solution of Legendre polynomial and you can easily solve these equations. Now let us consider n is equal to 2. So Gauss formula for n is equal to 2 is, now we have limit minus 1 to 1 f of x dx, which is equal to w1 f of x1 plus w2 f of x2, because n is equal to 2 only. Okay, so other terms, they will not be considered in this equation. Now the equation 5 of previous slide becomes, so w1 plus w2 is equal to 2, w1 x1 plus w2 x2 is equal to 0, w1 x1 square plus w2 x2 square is equal to 2 by 3, and w1 x1 cube plus w2 x2 cube is equal to 0. Since we have 4 unknown here for n is equal to 2, w1 and x1, w2 and x2. So we have 4 equations, solve them simultaneously. We get w1 is equal to w2 is equal to 1, and x1 is equal to minus 1 by root 3, and x2 is equal to plus 1 by root 3. So by considering n is equal to 2 is equivalent, shown in this figure, that we have this origin, and this x1 negative value is on this side, this point value function is this much at this x1, and x2 is positive side, plus 1 by square root of 3. So we have considered these 2 points for evaluating the integral. Okay. Thus, the Gauss formula for n is equal to 2 is integral minus 1 to 1 fx dx is equal to f of minus 1 by square root of 3 plus f of 1 by square root of 3. Weight is 1. Okay. So this formula gives the correct value of integral of fx in the range minus 1 to 1 for any function up to third order. Similarly, for Gauss formula for n is equal to 3, on solving we get integral is equal to 8 by 9 f of 0 plus 5 by 9 f of minus 3 by 5 whole square root plus f of 3 by 5 whole square root. So which is exact for polynomial up to 5th degree. So this is equivalent. We have 1 point x1 0. So this one is first point for n is equal to 3. Then minus 3 by 5 whole square root, which is this point, and plus 3 by 5 whole square root is this point. Okay. some low order quadrature rules are given in this table. So I have summarized this abscissa and weight in this table for different n values. So for n is equal to 1, we have point at origin only at 0 and weight is 2. At 2, we have 2 points plus minus 1 over square root of 3, weight is 1 for every W1 and W2. Then for 3, we have 1.0 and another one is plus minus 3 by 5 square root, and corresponding weights are also given, W1 and W2. Okay. Similarly for n is equal to 4 and n is equal to 5, and you've seen that these points, they are plus as well as minus, but their magnitude is same, so it means they are symmetrical with respect to the origin or the central point. Okay. Thus, in Gauss quadrature approach, for any polynomial of degree n, the exact integral can always be obtained by sampling a special set of n points and by taking the weighted sum. So I have shown the graphical representation for Gauss formula for different values of n. So n is equal to 1 is a single point at origin. So the function has this kind of shape. For n is equal to 2, there is Gaussian shape. For n is equal to 3, we have this kind of shape, 3 points. For n is equal to 4, we have 4 points symmetrical with respect to origin, and we consider this kind of shape in evaluating the integral. So for n is equal to 5, we have this kind of shape. So area under the curve. So it means by taking these points, you are able to evaluate the value of definite integral. So it is not like you are taking the points, two extreme points of the interval, and which are further divided into subintervals with constant step size or fixed step size. Here you are taking different steps, different step size. Okay. Now let us compare between Gaussian formula for n is equal to 2 and trapezoidal quadrature. The basic idea here for n is equal to 2 Gaussian curve is used as the superimposing shape. So Gaussian curve is used for n is equal to 2 instead of rectangles or trapezoid of quadrature. So we have considered an example. So n is equal to 2, we have points minus 1 by 3 square root and plus 1 by 3 square root. We have 2 points, and this blue line is the polynomial. Yx is equal to 7x cube minus 8x square minus 3x plus 3, okay, whose integral is minus 1 to 1, in between minus 1 to 1. This is the interval. Minus 1 to 1 is 2 by 3. So if you evaluate this function yx in between minus 1 to 1, it gives you value definite integral 2 by 3. Okay. The trapezoidal rule return the integral of orange dashed line. So the trapezoidal rule considers this kind of line, straight line, in between the at two extreme point of the interval minus 1 to 1. So it gives value y minus 1 plus y1 is equal to minus 10. Step size is 1. So minus 10. Okay. Similarly, the 2-point Gaussian quadrature rule return the integral of black dashed curve. So this is black dashed curve, which is equal to y of minus 1 by square root of 3 plus y of 1 by square root of 3, which gives you exactly 2 by 3 value. So this is same as that of if you carried out exact integral. Okay. Now such a result is exact since the green region, this one, has the same area as the sum of red regions. So this one and this one. So that is why we are getting 2 by 3 for the two approaches. So Gaussian quadrature is obviously better than trapezoidal. Now next is change of the limits. So if some other limits in the definite integral is given, so we have to convert it to the limits minus 1 and 1, because we have derived the Gauss formula for the limits of minus 1 to 1. So we have to transform, for example, any random limit a to b to minus 1 to 1. So let us make a substitution. X is equal to p u plus q. P and q are unknowns and u is a variable, such that when x is equal to a, u becomes minus 1, and when x is equal to p, u becomes 1. So this is our requirement. Okay. Thus we get two equations by using above two conditions. If you substitute x is equal to a and u is equal to -1, you have a is equal to minus p plus q. Similarly, x is equal to b and u is equal to 1, you get b is equal to p plus q. So solve these equations simultaneously and you get value of p is equal to b minus a by 2 and value of q is equal to a plus b by 2. So finally, what is your x now? X becomes b minus a by 2 u plus a plus b by 2. So now dx becomes b minus a by 2 du. So this is our substitution. So in definite integral between a to b fx dx now changed to this integral, substitute value of dx x and change the limit from minus 1 to 1. So b minus a by 2 comes outside the integral, this is constant, minus 1 to 1 f of x, which is b minus a by 2 u plus a plus b by 2. This is a function, a variable on which function depends, then du. So on simplification, we get b minus a by 2 minus 1 to 1 integral gu du. So gu is another function. After substitution, you will get. So now let us consider a numerical, and in this numerical, we will see how limits are to be changed and how we can apply Gauss quadrature formula for evaluating a definite integral. So we have to evaluate the Gauss this integral 0 to 1 or dx by 1 plus x, its value using 3-point Gaussian quadrature formula. 3 point means n is equal to 3. Okay. Now remember that here limits are 0 to 1. So we have to first change limits from 0 to 1 to minus 1 to 1. So first change limits from this, we get x is equal to 1 by 2 u plus 1. So follow the procedure given in the previous slide of changing the limits. You will get value of x is equal to 1 by 2 u plus 1. Now change the integral from 0 to 1 to minus 1 to 1. F of value of x is 1 by 2 is u plus 1 dx. So substitute, now function is f of x is 1 over 1 plus x simply. So substitute value of x now. So it is dx is 1 by 2 du and f of this term is 1 over 1 plus. In place of x you substitute 1 by 2 u plus 1. On little simplification you will get integral minus 1 to 1 become du by u plus 3. So your initial integral 0 to 1 dx over 1 plus x on substitution for changing the limits returns minus 1 to 1 du by u plus 3. Okay. Now Gauss formula for n is equal to 3 is 8 by 9 f of f0 plus 5 by 9 f of minus 3 by 5 whole square root plus f of 3 by 5 whole square root, and where f is the function, f of u is 1 over u plus 3. Now your function is changed because you are now dealing with u variable. So simply calculate the value of function at these points 0 and these minus 3 by 5 whole square root plus 3 by 5 whole square root and substitute their values in this function in this right hand side. So I definite integral becomes 8 by 9, f of 0 is 1 by 3 plus 5 by 9 and 1 over minus 3 by 5 whole square root plus 3 plus 1 over 3 by 5 whole square root plus 3. On little simplification you will get the result 0.6931. So you simply solve the integral using n is equal to 3 formula and you get result 0.6931. Okay. So in this video we have discussed about the Gauss quadrature formula for numerical integration. This formula is important for unequal step size, that is unequal intervals, subintervals, and this formula is more accurate as compared to the Newton-Cotes formula, that is trapezoidal or midpoint or Simpson 1/3 or 3 by 8, so on. So thank you for watching this video.